Bueno, amiga, ahora vamos con alguien que ya conocemos y que personalmente me causa mucha ternura. Lo llevo a comparar como el Pedrito Sola, el que todos amamos y el que todos lo queremos abrazar. Y aunque diga pendejadas, lo vamos a abrazar, pero no porque diga pendejadas, porque es muy respetable con toda esta parte filantrópica y ecológica que él tiene, que es el Príncipe Carlos. Con su historial de amores, ya sabemos que Diana de Gales, ya sabemos que Camila Parker Bowles, pero quiero que me cuentes quiénes hubo atrás de ellas o quiénes fueron las que pues se nombraron como pues novias o amantes o cómo fue la onda. Cuéntame, ábreme tu corazón.
Primero quiero retomar algo que me has dicho de record, que tú siempre dices que Charles es el niño al que nunca le dieron el sándwich en el recreo. ¿Pero por qué? ¿Sientes que es porque nunca va a ser rey? ¿O porque lo vilipendiamos en el mundo entero por infiel? ¿O por qué te causa ternurita? A mí se me hace a todo dar, pero me causa ternura hoy que ya está como... Ya,
es que incluso ya está como viejito,
no.
ya lo veo como con ternura, lo veo como Santa Claus, como ese Papá Noel, como ese...
Sí, hoy, sí. Pero hace 30, 40 años... Oye, Salomé era todo un playboy, qué abuelito ni qué nada, andaba pero de piloto, pero de capitán, de mar y guerra, de polista, bicicleta, lo que fuera.
Exacto, que al igual onda, como mi tío Edward o el duque de Edimburgo, tuvo como sigue teniendo su fashion moment, pero él marcó como una década y esa transición de los Windsor de la época de los finales de los 60, 70, 80, que se dejaba ver con esos lentes carrera como un agente 007 en sus autos convertibles, con el traje príncipe de Gales, y pues evidentemente rodeado de mujeres y mujeres guapas, y todas pues quiero que me expliques muy reinables, porque todas venían como de linajes muy, pues de abolengo.
De buenas familias.
Exactamente.
De muy buenas familias.
Antes de Diana y antes de Camila, que pues también vienen como de muy buenas familias con historia y con sus cosas. Cuéntame, ¿quiénes fueron las que estuvieron ahí en el Inter, en el medio, antes o después de las que conocemos hoy día?
Pues una bola, era super playboy, pero de las conocidas con las que se anduvo, a las que llevaba fiestas, que conocía a la familia Windsor, porque sus familias eran de linajes antiquísimos, o eran miembros del gabinete en turno, o aristócratas con los que, bueno, se echaban unos drinks en Royal Ascot, why not? Estaba Georgina Russell, que era hija del embajador del Reino Unido en España. Estaba por ahí la nieta del octavo duque de Wellington, que, paréntesis, el original duque de Wellington fue el que lideró la batalla que derrotó a Napoleón, ahí nada más. Entonces, era gente que tenían mucho cachet y que perfectamente podían ser reinas. La más famosa de ellos fue Davina Sheffield, que era con la que casi se casó. Ay, qué triste historia.
¿Se casaba antes de quién? ¿De Diana o
de Diana?
De Camila, el amorío con Camila?
De Diana. O sea, cuando él anda con Davina Sheffield, estaba enamoradísimo de ella, iba y venía. O sea, de pronto si se peleaba con Davina, andaba con otra chava, pero siempre regresaba con ella. Penny Jr. nos cuenta en su biografía que Charles le iba a proponer matrimonio a Davina y ¿qué crees? Que la Davina se emociona porque ya iba a ser famosa y célebre y que filtra y le cuenta a un periodista en un tabloide que, ay, pues mira, la verdad es que yo no soy virgen, pero, o sea, eso cero es importante, ¿eh? Yo ya viví con alguien, pero digo, o sea, ¿qué importa, no? Y pues, como algunas amigas que tenemos en las lomas o en Polanco, resulta que Charles dijo, ¿what? O sea, ya sé que no eres virgen. Ya sé que no eres virgen, mana, pero ¿por qué se lo tienes que ir a contar a todo el mundo? ¡Estúpida! Y por eso, o sea, ya no hablemos de que no le propuso matrimonio, o sea, no le volvió a hablar, literal. Y en eso, Camila llegó y dijo, oh.
Y aquí soy.
Se le volvió a meter. Ellos ya eran amigos, Camila y Carpio, se llevaban increíble, pero ella pues ya tenía ahí una relación con Andrew Parker Bowles, y como que no se definía mucho. No hay ninguna certeza de que en realidad Carlos le haya dicho me quiero casar contigo o que se lo haya propuesto a la reina Isabel, porque Camila pues ya tenía un tiempo andando ahí con Andrew, pero en este momento es cuando se afianza su relación y cuando conoce a Diana también. Y él sabía que tenía que casarse con alguien de ese estilo, muy, muy aristócrata, porque Camila pues también pertenece a una buena familia, pero no del nivel de las que mencionamos, ¿eh? no
Pero
de ese nivel.
era la tatarabuela de Camila, que fue también amante
Sí,
de Enrique VIII, ¿no?
pero era, o sea, era una cortesana, era una lady in waiting. Por ejemplo, Davina Sheffield no era aristócrata, su bisabuelo había sido uno de los grandes industriales de la revolución industrial inglesa de la era de la reina Victoria. Eran un imperio metalúrgico. Entonces, sí, pertenecía a una
Wow.
familia noble, pero además histórica. Camila, pues era hija de un militar, no tenían este gran rango que tienen el duque de Wellington, o sea, nadie, ¿no? Nadie. Y Charles Spencer, el padre de Diana, pues era conde de Spencer, es una familia antiquísima, ¿eh? Querían incluso desde tiempos del medievo, del
Desde
siglo
antes de los
XI,
Windsor.
la bandera de los Spencer se encuentra en Gales, en uno de los castillos más antiguos de Gales. O sea, son más ingleses que los Windsor.
Exactamente. Y dime una cosa, mi Gaby, también se dijo que Carlos anduvo bueno, que más bien conoció a la princesa Diana porque empezó a andar o a romancear o ahí como que medio que ver con una de las hermanas de la princesa Diana, ¿no? Pero no, ahí
Sí,
explícame, ¿anduvieron sí o no o nada más fue ahí de que qué onda?
pues ahí se andaban dando, pero sus llegues. Salían, pero nunca fructífero.
El llegue te lo va a dar
Digo,
a mi
perdón,
copa porque
nunca, ay, perdón, es que ya se me subió el rosado. Nunca fructificó, cosechó ese romance, pues. Eso sí es cierto y lo cuenta Diana. Ella conoce a Charles porque en efecto su hermana lo invita a un fin de semana a la casa. Y ahí es donde se conocen. Digo, no fue un gran romance, pero es relevante porque después tu hermana chiquita se casó con
claro, claro. Y
el
más
dude con
como
el que
este
salió.
trabajo que se veía que el príncipe Carlos hacía como para darse a notar con un sello propio, que lo vimos pues en varios spots o en varios como momentos o highlights muy memorables, como cuando estuvo en Brasil bailando zumba con las bailarinas negras en Brasil, o como cuando iba a Australia, o como cuando
¡O las
incluso
Spice
también en
Girls!
México. Y vino a México tanto en la época de los 70 como cuando vino aquí recientemente a la Ciudad de México con Camila ya como esposa y que estuvo en Campeche con la guayabera y hasta estuvo bailando ahí. ¿Tú te sabes la historia? Cuéntanos.
Pues con guayabera no, era un traje de lino. En realidad quien le da la guayabera es José Antonio Meade, que era por aquel momento el secretario de Turismo, y se hacen un intercambio de guayaberas muy interesante. Él venía de lino y en Chichén Itzá posó. Yo no estuve en el tour en el sureste, pero sí aquí en Xochimilco, en las trajinebrias, donde iba él en príncipe, pero así, mira, erguido y digno,
De acuerdo al traje que llevaba él.
tambaleándose. Sí, precioso. Él siempre vestido, como dices tú, como un príncipe azul, traía una corbata azul divina. A Camila le dieron un rebozo de hidalgo. Se veían muy bien, pero él era muy participativo. Y bailó, en efecto, un son campechano. Lo invitan a bailar. Y como tú dices, si en Brasil bailó la samba o le hizo a la samba, porque no iba a bailar. Y lo hizo súper bien. Yo hasta creo que ensayó antes. Me parece que Charles tiene esta necesidad hoy de ser divertido, de que la gente vea que no es este retrato ficticio que se le ha hecho siempre en películas o en libros, donde parece un pelele, donde parece alguien sin carácter y donde parece un villano. Claro que nunca nos va a caer bien un hombre que tiene una esposa que lo ama y va y la cuernea, pero bueno, ese es un asunto de ellos. A final de cuentas tenemos nuestra opinión o no al respecto. Hay quien te dice el amor triunfó con Camila, hay quien te dice pobrecita Diana, par de perros, pero creo que él ha limpiado muy bien su imagen y que es un tipo carismático y que cuando tiene que ser rudo, pues es rudo. Pero normalmente sus apariciones públicas y sus discursos son súper divertidos. Yo te puedo decir que lo adoré y que además en la embajada británica hubo una cena y que el staff de la embajada, que en aquel momento era de Duncan Taylor, parte de ese staff yo lo conocía, eran amigos míos y me contaban que el tipo era lo más encantador, sí, muy protocolario, te tenías que dirigir a él con respeto, no le podías estirar la mano nomás así como, ¿qué pasó, mi Charles? Pero muy abierto con los invitados del embajador Taylor y con la prensa que estuvimos ahí en muy adecuado, muy encantador, y además nos dijo que no era necesario que un extranjero se inclinara ante él, pero al estar en la embajada británica, estás en suelo inglés. Por lo tanto,
O sea, ahí en la
cortesía.
embajada es otra historia. O sea, si no en México, si estás dentro de la embajada británica y está alguien de la realeza, como es territorio de la embajada del país correspondiente, ¿tienes que hacer la reverencia?
Sí, es
Wow.
apreciado, es apreciado que como extranjero tengas
La
el
cortesía
cruce,
de
¿no?
hacerle la reverencia dentro de la embajada, porque al final de
Dentro
cuentas
de
es
la embajada.
territorio, ¿no?
Así es, así es.
Wow. Ese es un gran dato que no sabía, por si cualquier de los que nos ve un día están en la embajada de Inglaterra aquí o en cualquier país, sepan que tienen que ser hombres así, o la mujer así como, ya sabes. Perfecto. Pues bueno, mi Gaby, estos son como los momentos más icónicos que hemos visto por parte del príncipe Carlos. No sé si quieras agregar algo más.
Que me cae re bien y que ojalá sea re. Bu, bu, bu.
Oye, mi Gaby, y dime una cosa acá desde tu ser y desde tus entrañas y desde ti misma. ¿Tú crees que el príncipe Carlos sí vaya a ser rey, sí o no?
Yo quiero que sea rey, como acabo de decir, pero que crea, por supuesto. ¿Cómo se lo van a saltar? Seguimos hablando de la abdicación del tío David. ¿Tú crees que se van a arriesgar a tener otra un siglo después? Obvio, no. Es más, vamos a ver este video de mi futuro rey para que vean que es bien carismático.
Loch Mich was a favourite haunt for Queen Victoria. The prince and his children often come here with friends of the family.
Do you like being with your children?
Of course I do. I hope they like being with me. But what is marvellous is to see them develop and you know, start to get good at certain things and develop interests and all that, you know, gives me enormous pleasure and satisfaction and pride, really.
Oh, horrendous foul.
Hang on.
Oh, he's going to be a substitution here. All right, Rory.
Prince's two sons are like other children, except that they are quite different. They will inherit privileges and duties which will test them to the limit. Their father believes that they will need one quality above all.
Sensitivity to others, which by any definition is actually called good manners, which I think a lot of people have forgotten. And also, on the whole, do to others as you'd have them do to you, which is not a bad way of trying to operate.
The prince looks forward to their teenage years.
Brilliant. As they get older, there are more things that perhaps they, being boys, they could do with their father. And, I mean, that's, you know, obviously more and more enjoyable. But I've always, you know, mucked around with him a great deal. I remember when William was tiny, I used to, you know, muck around with him as much as I possibly could.
No, because please no. It's too...
Despite the anguish of a failed marriage, the prince and the princess managed to share the children between them without rancour.
God, he smells. He must be old.
No, I mean, I as I say, we discuss it, but you know, that's a matter for us, isn't it? It's not a matter for other people to decide how our children should be educated or brought up. But you can bet your bottom dollar they will all interfere and they will all say it should have been done this way, it should have been done that. But I mean, that's become a national pastime, this sort of prurient speculation.
Even at Balmoral, the royal family is under constant surveillance by the media. The prince resents the intrusion, longing for more privacy than the zoom lenses of a tabloid media will allow.
I'm not very good at being a performing monkey, really. And I think that I'm quite a sort of private person. I'm not prepared to just perform whenever they want me to perform on that sort of score. And no, it would be all right if they actually went away. But as I was saying, they don't. I always think there's a camera now, always, or something like a camera, and worse. I mean, it is extraordinary how now you feel, I do anyway, that wherever you are, there's somebody hiding behind something, somewhere. And with these immense cameras now, with these huge lenses and magnification, you can sit a mile away. quite happily, and photograph through windows and everything else. And they do.
I've seen you!
Who's that up there behind the end of that tree trunk? Harry! Harry!
No, Mama, you can't touch it! Mama, you can't touch it!
right.
Hugh has
It's
to! Hugh has to, because you saw him!
It's very successful.
Where's Tiggy? We need Tiggy.
Until now, the prince has not spoken about the collapse of his marriage. No friend has been permitted to speak on his behalf. As a result, it has been put about that he was always unfaithful, even before the marriage died in the latter half of the 80s. The most damaging charge that is made in relation to your marriage is that you were, because of your relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles, from the beginning, persistently unfaithful to your wife and thus caused the breakdown. What is your response to that persistent criticism?
That's the persistent criticism, is it? Well, and the trouble is, you see, that these things, again, as I was saying earlier, are so personal. It's difficult to know quite how to, to talk about these things in front of everybody. And obviously, I don't think many people would want to. But I mean, all I can say is that there's been so much speculation, feeding on every other kind of speculation, that it all becomes bigger and bigger. I mean, all I can say is that I mean, there is no truth in so much of this speculation. And Mrs. Parker Bowles is a great friend of mine. I have a large number of friends. I'm terribly lucky to have so many friends who I think are wonderful and make the whole difference to my life, which would become intolerable otherwise. And she has been a friend for a very long time, and along with a lot of other friends, and will continue to be a friend for a very long time. And I think also most people probably would realize that when marriages break down, awful and miserable as that is, that so often, that it is your friends who are the most important and helpful and understanding and encouraging. Otherwise, you would go start raving mad. And that's what friends are for.
Understandably, when your marriage collapsed, you form close friendships, you re-establish close friendships of whatever character that friendship is. Did you try to be faithful and honourable to your wife when you took on the vow of marriage?
Yes, absolutely.
And you were?
Yes. Until it became irretrievably broken down. Us both having tried.
You've been very open about all of this and what you've said. Do you now hope that this issue and expect this issue to go away? Is that what you hope will now happen?
Well, it would be awfully nice if it did, from everybody's point of view. I mean, I don't think many other people have to go through this constant attention, not just me, but others, when their marriages break down. I mean, as I've said before, it is a deeply regrettable thing to happen. But it does happen, and unfortunately, in this case, it has happened. I mean, it's the last possible thing that I ever wanted to happen. I'm not a total idiot. I'm not unaware of all these problems. And as I was saying before, this business of predicting what everybody would say, it's not something that I went into marriage, with the intention of this happening, or in any way in a cynical frame of mind. I mean, I'm on the whole not a cynical person, and I sounds self-righteous to say so, but I have on the whole tried, I think, to to get it right. I mean, constantly, people scrutinising. So I mean, I have always tried to get it right and try to do the right thing by everybody. So you can imagine it's not a very happy or encouraging thing when this sort of business happens. So obviously it would be nice if it could be over and done with. I mean, it has happened. That is that, regrettably.
Your Royal Highness, congratulations on 30 years of the Prince's Trust.
You're very kind, thank you very much.
Tell us how...
I can't believe it is 30 years. Do you know that
30
thing?
years?
It is rather worrying. But I'm still alive.
Tell us about the different ways the Trust supports young people all over the UK.
Well, as I say, over 30 years, I've tried to find ways, meeting the particular needs and challenges that people face, and really aim to try and bring out people's best talents and potential. Because I think a lot of people, the talent is buried and has never been brought out. And everybody has something, I think. And it's just that business of giving them self-confidence and self-esteem. And so all it is, I think, is an investment in the future. And that, has grown and grown now. So 66,000 businesses we've started in the last 20-something years. There was one the other day, who we started 20 years ago exactly, in 1986. And they started with £1,000 in their grandmother's attic.
Really?
And they're now turning over £30 million a year. And they've got offices, in Los Angeles and New York and...
Brilliant.
London. I mean, they are fantastic. It's called Attic.
Right.
I'm very proud of that.
Yeah, you must be.
Now, the media nowadays often tends to demonise young people, and with terms like hoodies and thugs and things like that. I mean, they're all myths that the Trust has tried to dispel and to try and give young people back their self-esteem.
Exactly. But again, it's very easy, isn't it, to create stereotypes. I just know that there are a lot of people who appear like that, but underneath it all are actually uncertain and unsure of themselves and perhaps insecure. And as I say, all it needs a lot of the time is to provide them with motivation and self-esteem.
Yeah.
And suddenly they are transformed.
How important are William and Harry in keeping you in touch with what's relevant today and what's in fashion?
Right. I'm sure they think they're very important. No, I do. I mean, they are very good at keeping me in touch with what's going on a bit. And particularly on the sort of music front and things like that. I can't keep up with all the different new bands and everything else that bob up on the scene.
One you did miss was PJ and Duncan. They were very good.
No, they were.
When I was at school,
Sir, they were brilliant.
That's those
they
two.
were. we had a very brief music career a few years ago. Very life.
Do you have quite similar music taste, the two of you, or are you quite different in taste of music?
We're quite similar.
Varies a bit.
I'd say his was pretty shocking, but mine was quite
really?
good. But apart from that, we tend to like pretty much the same music.
Yeah.
These two, so you play this stuff, and I'm sitting there going, downstairs somewhere, it's a whole place.
It's just like houses up and down the country.
Yeah.
Turn that racket down. Yeah.
And you've had, obviously, quite a few run-ins over the years with the Spice Girls as well.
Yeah.
They were great ambassadors for the Trust, weren't
Marvellous. Yeah, they were terrific, they really were. And great fun, anyway,
Would you say you have any favourite ambassadors, sir?
What can I say?
Spare our blushes, please.
But I'm enormously grateful because then a lot of them spend a lot of time give up their time to help with the Trust.
Yeah.
And they do motivate and inspire.
Yeah.
And one of the bands that the Trust did help was Journey South. Did you see that?
I heard about it, yeah. I
Right.
didn't watch that particular X Factor, but I think Harry probably watched most of it all right.
I saw a couple.
You see that one?
I'm not going to admit to watching.
But they've done really well. And if it wasn't for the Trust, they were in debt. They couldn't afford to buy any more equipment. But when they did, when they got a grant.
And now I think their album's out. I think it's gone gold or platinum or something. And if it wasn't for the Trust, those guys wouldn't be there. So it's something to be proud of, isn't it?
Well, I think so. And I hope we can go on doing that. But as I say, it is a struggle raising all the money to do it all.
Have you guys got the same sense of humour? Do you watch the same comedy programmes?
Yeah, we tend to do most of the same sort of... Yeah, we like the same sort of things. Although there's usually an argument over the remote control at home about who watches what.
Really?
That usually goes on for quite a while.
Friends is always a safe bet.
Yeah.
The trust is also linked very closely to sport and football in particular, and you've spent your time going up and down the country and visiting football clubs. Could you tell us a couple of the schemes that the trust is involved with?
We got the Premier League and the Professional Football Association, who've been wonderful again, and helped us most generously. And I've been to Arsenal and Liverpool football clubs, and they've been terrific in helping this whole scheme.
Harry, you're an Arsenal fan, if I'm correct.
Yeah, it's true. What's that supposed to mean?
And you're an Aston Villa fan?
I am indeed.
I mean, I can understand Arsenal. Aston Villa?
Newcastle?
Yeah, exactly, yeah, good point. Exactly.
Yeah.
We're doing all right at the moment, thank you.
Why did you choose Aston Villa as a club to support?
It was the first team I went and watched play, an FA Cup game against Bolton. And I sort of decided that we were close enough to Birmingham to allow me to support it.
And you're also president of the FA as well now?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
That's a great job.
That's a great job, yeah. Loads of free tickets.
They must be pretty desperate, wouldn't they?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But it's a real privilege actually to be president of FA.
But the most important question, will you get to hand over the FA Cup?
If they let me anywhere near it, then yes, that's the plan. Yeah.
Well, it's the closest Aston Villa are going to get to it.
And Newcastle as well, I think.
Yes, that's true.
Now, we know you three must be very competitive. You all play polo together, Team Highgrove.
Used to.
Used to play polo together.
He's decided that the pressure of playing with his two sons is too much. We're too good for him now. Got to give in somewhere.
Well, I was going to ask, sir, which one's the most competitive?
They are very competitive, and I remember playing with them the last time I played with them in a tournament. We really wanted to win, and I get this stuff, shouting at me, "You silly old father, get on with it," the usual thing. And I was trying too hard. That's right. But I was trying too hard. I remember doing it. I had to turn the pony very fast, and the next thing, the pony came down sideways, and I must have landed absolutely smack on my head. Anyway, it completely felled me. And I ended up being taken to hospital, where I finally woke up. Seemed a long time afterwards. Anyway, this person here told me later that he thought, when I was lying on the ground, that he said, "Papa's just snoring," he said. And there I was, busily swallowing my tongue. Quietly dying. You remember, you told me that.
Very well.
Imagine they try to kill me so they can walk off with my ponies. That's
And the rest.
Do the tempers ever get a bit frayed?
Oh yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah, definitely. We work really well as a team because we're all sort of thinking roughly alike. But when someone does something wrong, you get the two very stern faces looking at you, and then you get the bollocking afterwards. So,
yeah. It is great fun being able to play with them. That was the great thing. I did have some time playing with them.
Yeah.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah. Didn't quite have enough to make a team. But
Have you finished now, sir? Is that you?
Well, I have really, I think. I just felt, it's better to give up when you're still able to do it.
Yeah.
And I shall miss it terribly because I loved having all that violent exercise.
Yeah, but it's best to bow out at the top, sir.
Yeah.
And leave them wanting more.
You guys haven't reached that yet.
So when you go back, yeah, exactly.